We are live, Rhea.
Hello, it's good to be alive. Yes.
Yes, it is.
So happy
Okay.
Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I had
Yeah.
this posting for my team that said, uh, Tuesdays are for fresh starts. Let's put Monday behind us. So, we had a busy day yesterday. So
Mm,
yep. Okay, that was Monday.
right.
And we'll put all of that behind us. Let's go forward in Tuesday.
Like John Maxwell says, yesterday ended last night, right? Doesn't he say that? Yesterday ended last night.
Yes, it sure did.
Mhm.
It sure did. One of the things I say, because of course, we love Fridays. We're all TGIF. I say Friday starts on the elevator on the way downstairs on Thursday. As I'm leaving, when I get on that elevator, Friday has started for me.
I've heard you call it Thursday Eve or Friday Eve. Is that what you
Friday
call it?
Eve,
Right, Friday
yes,
Eve.
yes. But it's funny how I start to feel, as I leave the office on Thursday evening, I start to feel that Friday energy. It
Yeah,
starts to hit me. So I
yeah.
love that.
All right. So hopefully we won't have a repeat of last week. We tested things out. I'm in a hotel, a different one. So hopefully this won't give us any problems. I apologize for last week. That was frustrating.
Well, stuff happens and we learn.
Yes,
So
it does. So we've got Safa,
hello,
we've
Safa.
got Joni. Hi, Joni and
Hello, Joni.
John. All right, so we can get started and people will be hopping on. Dawn is on.
And Dawn is
And
on.
Donna's on.
Dawn is getting a break from the groundhog. I know that.
Right. So Safa, we're sorry you missed last week live, but we're happy you had a good class, and you could always catch the replay.
That's right.
And Joni says hi, so
Hi,
it's
Joni.
so great that she's tuning in. All right, so Dawn is in Cape Cod. I saw her pictures, and
Yes.
how beautiful, right? So
Yes.
beautiful. So we thank you all, and Don is here. Ugh, we've got such a great group of people on.
Oh,
So
wow.
let's get right into our topic. Let's not keep anybody waiting because
Okay.
it's been a rough weekend
Yes.
around the world, and
Hmm.
our message has a little bit to do with that.
Yes, it does. I mean, it's. I Some people would think it's indirect, but no, we'll talk about, and I think everyone will understand the influence, uh, how it has influenced today's topic. I I I I felt after Saturday and Sunday, the need, for reasons I'll talk about, to do my own tune in Tuesday on Sunday, to do a bit of self examination, because someone posted something that was aligned with how I was feeling, and I'd really like to share that. But the topic that we have today is the state of your heart, the
Yeah.
state of your heart, and and what is it, and looking at what is it that we are putting out into the world, what are we creating in the world. So uh so one of our wonderful John Maxwell colleagues, Michelle, posted something that she was led to post early Sunday morning, and part there, I'll just read just one little part, which is a quote from James Allen. We've talked about James Allen here before, and the importance of his writing, especially as it has influenced our understanding of our thoughts, and the importance of understanding our thoughts. But the quote is, "He who believes in love, in its stability and power, practices it under all circumstances, never deviates from it, and bestows it alike upon enemies as upon friends. He who slanders and condemns, who speaks disparagingly of others, or regards them with contempt believes not in love, but hatred. All his actions prove it, even though with tongue or pen he may eulogize love. So that struck me. Even this was even before leaving for church, and I shared with you, Laura, that we got to church and our minister said we're going to do another, there's going to be another sermon today in the series on the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, she talked about God knows your true heart, your true heart. And so that was amazing to have those two things married, especially when I felt so convicted after reviewing the reading that I just shared, the quote that I just shared. So thanks so much to Michelle for putting this out there for us, because part of what she was saying is this governs love has to govern everything. It has to govern It has to govern all of our relationships. It has to govern the way that we speak to one another. It has to govern what we even post on the internet, what we post on Facebook, social media, because if for nothing else, practically speaking, we have to recognize that times have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Times, where we were 20 years ago and the way we communicated is not the way that we communicate now. So if you had something that you wanted to say, you would speak to a friend or a family member. The most you would do would be able to pick up the phone and call someone. Now, people can say really hateful things to one another or about one another and just put it out there as if it means nothing. And it's not true. It does mean something. So that talking about today. Sorry, someone just rang through on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is what we're talking about today. So, what do you think about all of that, Laura? How does
Yeah.
that resonate for you?
I mean, I think that there's so much in what you said. You know, I feel like coming from that place of love, is so simply said. It's not simply lived out,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there's a buildup of a lot of things sometimes. And so if we're not observing our heart and we're not being watchers of our hearts can get hardened, they can get sad, they can get angry, they could shut down. We could lose, how to, can you, I don't even know how to do it. We can lose hope, right? And that's something that when we start to lose that, it makes a really big difference in what we put out into the world. And this past weekend of events, with the work that I do, I couldn't help but to think about students.
Yeah.
Because you know what, Rhea? When we were younger, I would have to open the newspaper or I would have to turn on the news in order to hear about tragedy. And I would hear about it once. But our students today, they get alerts to their phone all the time.
Yeah.
And it's in real time, and it's in video, and they can play it over and over, and they last for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look at this younger generation, and I know the levels of anxiety that are already there.
Mm-hmm.
And I can feel like that heaviness when they get these alerts to their phone. And I know that that's how they get the news. They get alerts to their phone all day long. And so, I keep thinking of them. And I look at the adults that are very frustrated and angry and sad and disengaging. And And it has such a trickle effect. So whatever we put out there, other people are living off of it.
That's right.
It's not as if we put stuff out there and it just, you know, dissipates. No, it doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Energy doesn't ever get destroyed.
Yes.
It
Yes.
expands.
And we have to be responsible for that. We have to hold, we have we have to understand that we are not just out here just running into bumping into one another because we have no control over anything. Oh, we have control. We do
Yeah,
have control. We have control over our thoughts. We have control over our mouths. The power of life and death is in the tongue. The power of life and death is in the tongue. We have control over actions that we take. We have control over how we interact with other people. Why don't we? We have to practice better control.
yeah,
We have to guard our hearts as well, not just what we say and do, but what comes to us. So, I've talked about this before. There are TV programs that I cannot watch,
hmm,
and some of them are news programs. There are plenty of things that are on television, because now on television, holy moly, you can watch any kind of thing that you want to watch. If you want a show where they don't do anything but sit and grate cabbage all day, I am sure there's a show for that. I mean, there's just everything that's out there, but you cannot have everything come into your home. You can't, because it
right,
does. That energy has an effect on you. Just like energy applied to a tea kettle has an effect. It boils over. That energy has an effect on you.
and there's temptation out there everywhere. So
Yes.
if you want to come from a place of love, then my question would be, what are your actions to show that?
Hmm.
Right? What actions do you put out there that come from love? What do you do? And we've talked about this, right? Because I know Paul Martinelli has said it 100 times. If you want to know the truth about somebody, grab a hold of their checkbook and their calendar, and you'll know everything you need to know about them.
That's
How
right.
do they spend their time, and how do they spend their money?
Hmm.
It tells you everything you want to know.
Hmm.
So what do you do to stay true to your heart and to put out the energy that you want to put out in this world? And what kind of energy do you want to put out in this world?
That's right.
So let's see what we have here. So Alice, oh, hi Alice. She's the
Hello,
sweetest,
Alice.
sweetest person. She has the most beautiful sunsets from her new house. Have you seen them?
Yes, I have, in the new pool.
Oh my gosh, the sunsets are spectacular. So Joni says we hold ourselves accountable and we need to add love, kind actions, and positive energy.
And there.
Yes.
And just to be clear, and I don't even think I really need to say this to the group that we're talking to right now, but there may be people watching who just think, oh, that's, you guys are just silly. It's superficial stuff. Yeah, no. Um, this is very serious, because we've got a lot of the things that are happening around us are issues of the heart, of the
Mhm.
heart. I mean, we can go back and forth forever on politics, on politicians, on leadership, on
Yes, we could.
guns, or we can go back and forth forever. But it comes down to on the state of our mental health system. I mean, we can talk about all of that, but what it comes down to, when you come down to it, it's an issue of the heart. And I am not endorsing any single Democratic or Republican candidate. But there are people out there who have a larger platform who are saying exactly what we are saying, and it's time we listen. We should consider it. We should consider it, and if nothing else, out of tonight's session with us, if you would just take the time and ask yourself, what are you putting out there in the world? Are you truly putting out love? Is this love that you're contributing to the world, or is it
Right.
something else? Because
Right.
you made a point earlier about love and either whether it's hate or fear or whatever else it happens to be, they don't coexist.
No. No.
Yeah,
You
this is
can you cannot feel both of them at the same
yes,
time.
yes.
So if you really truly come from love, and I'll just say that is so easier said than done.
Mm-hmm,
If you truly come from love, then you don't know hate,
mm-hmm.
right? It can't happen if you're coming from love. And so, Dawn, I have to show this comment because it goes right along with what we're saying. Love is action, not feeling. And words have power. We need to use them carefully,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so how that's exactly what we want to say is that love is an action. What actions are you doing? What are you putting out into the world? And then again, we know that what we put out into the world comes back to us,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's how it works, and we have faith that it works like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Whether it's positive or negative, whether it's
right.
positive or negative,
And
yes.
we can't always see it in real time,
Mm-hmm.
right? But our heart knows what we're putting out there. And when we're in sync, I mean, I don't know about you, I could feel when I'm in sync and when I'm not in sync, right? So when I do an action and it goes along with my heart, I am like in flow. I'm in sync.
Mm-hmm.
When something might slip out of my mouth that I think, oh my gosh, where did that even come from? Let me apologize real fast. That did not come out the way I meant it to, or I feel that too.
Yeah. Well, and I have to ask myself, so what's going on? What's going on? How do I feel? What am I thinking? It's what comes in handy when for moments like that, a journal.
I have mine right here, right? I'm traveling and I have my journal with me at all
but
times.
but that because there was something that struck me the other day, and I had to ask myself,
Mm,
was I really walking in love? And if so, was I being the person, the friend that I needed to be? Was I demonstrating love towards another person, or was it something else? So, and those questions and there's nothing wrong with those questions coming up, and there's nothing there, and we are human. We have all kinds of moments. I am not only human, I am a menopausal woman. I have all kinds of moments, okay?
yes, I know. I know all about it. Unfortunately, I know all about it.
but you know but what I want out of this, and what I want for everyone, is the awareness, the self-awareness. So just like you said, when something happens, you recognize that, and you can tune in very quickly and
Yeah,
tune up, fix it. What is this? Where is this coming from? What's happening? And be able to get to that root cause and work through it.
right.
That's what we're talking. We're not talking about becoming Stepford wives here, and we're all perfect, and we're all all of that kind of stuff. That's not what we're talking about. But we are talking about being more aware,
Yeah.
and being more responsible. Just like, who was it that was
Sure. Joni said that.
We have to be accountable, being more
Right.
accountable. Oh, we got more comments. Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And you
yeah.
know what? This is all having a huge effect on our world. I mean, and that's the truth. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said before, there this doesn't happen without effect, right? So I'm at a conference now. I'm becoming a certified instructor on a suicide prevention program that's an evidence-based national program. Why is that? Because suicide is at an all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's part of a result you see from what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
So there are results from all of this. And so what we do about it is what matters. How we respond is what matters, right? By our response, we can change things. Or by our response, we can contribute to the madness.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
so Donna says, yes, everything revolves and evolves from issues of the heart. It's why
And
learning, go ahead.
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
It's why learning how to heal our heart and the hearts of others should be a priority.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see that is a great. I love that because if we don't heal our heart, we've said this 100 times too, right? Hurt people. They
That's
don't
right.
even know it.
Yes.
It's not their fault. They don't know it. Their heart is hurt. They
Yeah.
don't know how to do something differently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that is so wonderful because healing your heart will allow you to now put out healing energy.
Yes, absolutely. And it is, it's critical. It's
Yeah.
critical in this time. It's
Yes.
because we have moved into a very dark place as a society, and it can get better or it can get worse, and it can get worse.
Right.
Now,
Right.
I see, before I go forward, I see some names that have jumped in here. I
Hmm.
don't see comments from them yet, but I see some people, some names that I know. I see Christina Kebrick is on, and hopefully she's still watching. And Anita Hike, my my colleague, my buddy. I'm telling you, this this is, we have a, you ever, you heard of a bat phone? That's basically what we have. If something happens, it's like pick up the phone. And we're calling each other. So I appreciate you logging in, and for Tune In Tuesday, Anita. And then we've got Brian Gable is watching as well.
Hmm. And
So
Alexandra McDonald. So yeah, we've got a bunch of people on. Dawn says, sadly, sometimes truth is perceived as not loving.
mhm,
Either the delivery was not loving or the receiver is not loving.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, and we've got to perfect or work on perfecting truth in love,
Yeah.
and communicating truth in love. And we don't always, okay, I can speak for myself. I don't always do that because sometimes I'm so focused on the truth part. Let's get the truth, that's the priority. but
Yeah.
it but yes, sometimes, and then sometimes the truth just hurts. Sometimes it hurts. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll pick something comical. I mean, you can have on what you think is the prettiest dress in the world. You think, well, it's not really that tight. And someone comes along, and oh my gosh, little kids, okay, little kids can say things to you, not and they don't have a mean bone in their body, but they'll tell you the truth, and that hurts
Yeah.
sometimes. That will
It
hurt.
certainly could. So Joni says, when your heart is right, we need to share it with others. We know one kind action can make a difference in the life of another, just like your humor. Yeah. And then she says, we should be intentional with our words and actions.
Hmm.
Yeah, because guess what? All this stuff is happening. So how are we responding to it? Because
Yes.
we in our response, we get the choice to continue it or to flip it. right? With the energy that we put out.
Mm-hmm.
So Safa says the heart is the place where we meet others, suffer, and rejoice with them. It's the place where we can identify and be in solidarity with them. Whenever we love, whenever we love or are not alone.
We are
The
not
heart,
alone. Yeah, whenever
oh,
we
okay.
love, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's supposed to be we. Okay, right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So sorry, Safa. Whenever we love, we are not alone. The heart is a place of our oneness with others. We can choose to take this path and to treat people as people. We need more love. People matter.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes, yes. People do matter. People matter. Yes.
Yeah. All people matter.
They really, really do. And and there you know, and this is, I guess we said at the top of the discussion, this is not a political discussion. This
No.
is a discussion about the heart. This is something that needs to be considered, whether you are Republican, Democrat, uh, Martian, independent. I mean, whatever you choose to be, agnostic. I mean, this is not about religion. This is, I mean, we happen to be people of faith, and you know, and this is based upon the teachings from the Bible, and I'm grateful for that. But and I promise you, if you hear a siren in the background, no one's coming to arrest me. But 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 I just live in New York City, so, and I have the window open because it's such a beautiful day.
Is it
But
nice?
oh, it's so nice today. It's so nice. But
Right.
but what we want is, we just wanted to have a conversation today about the heart, and about the importance of understanding and guarding our hearts, and the importance of putting love out into the world, and not hate. And
Right.
and I am not saying that you can never get angry. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that you have to let people walk all over you. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about the basis for what we say and what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
And Donna brought up a really good point that I would just like to reiterate a little bit more too.
Mm-hmm.
If your heart hurts,
Mm-hmm.
right? If love is hard to come from that place because maybe your heart needs to heal, be open to that. Be open to healing your heart because until that happens, until we are at peace in our heart,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes really hard to be able to come from those kinds of places like love.
And you know, and that is so important, because it's there are times we need help,
Yes.
and we might not be able to. I mean, we talk about healing your heart. You might not, and hurting people hurt people, but you might not know what to do.
Right,
You just
exactly.
you just know that something is off. You know that something's off, and there is help that you can seek without shame.
Right,
Without shame.
exactly. There are crisis hotlines,
Yes.
there are places to start.
Yes.
And so if your heart hurts and you want to contribute more but it's hard to do it,
Mm-hmm.
reach out. Please
Yes.
reach out because there are so many resources out there that people don't even know about.
Yes.
Right? And if
And
anybody wants to, send me a private message, I would be
yes.
happy to give resources to anybody.
Yeah.
Um, and we can each be a resource when our heart is healed and it's coming from a place that's peaceful.
Yes. And there are, and as Laura said, there's so many resources. If you work for a company that has an employee assistance program, or you work for an employer that has an employee assistance program, oh, take advantage of that. You use that. Know that, I mean, talk to them about their confidentiality policy, and I think always they have a confidentiality policy. But take advantage of that. because
Yeah.
it's something that is in many companies, and I work for a large company where it's underutilized, and people
Yes.
could use it
Yes.
much more. So yeah, use those resources.
Yeah.
Get the help that you need. There's no shame in that. There's absolutely
I
no shame.
I feel like there are some great EAPs out there, but people are so hesitant to be labeled or to have their job changed or for people to hear about what's going on with them.
Mm-hmm.
Privacy becomes an issue, and that's totally understandable. So please, let's not use that as an excuse that can keep us from seeking help,
Mm-hmm.
because it could sound like a great justification why we don't do anything.
Yeah.
There are other things out there. There are other places. There are hotlines where you can start. And there's just no reason today not to reach out for help
That's
if,
right.
if you need to heal your heart,
Yeah.
because that is too important not to do. So
Yes, absolutely, and certainly, if you don't know where to start, you can start with us.
yes,
Absolutely.
please, please. So Dawn says we're all trying to be right. Being connected is more important than being right. Loving others can change their heart and your heart. And we've
Mm.
said that before too. If you get a chance to connect or correct, please connect.
Yes,
You get no
yes.
points for being right. You don't.
Choose the connection. Well, you know what, Laura. Also, that is an indication of a person who doesn't is not able to distinguish being right versus doing the right thing. And quite often, the right thing to do is not to correct it, or not to try to be right, not to be right. Sometimes you swallow the right thing. You know, it's like, okay, all right, fine. But and you get so much more out of that.
Yeah.
You get
That's an ego thing though. We have to
yes, it is.
recognize that. We
Yes,
have
it
to
is.
recognize that when we have this need to be right, we're
Mm-hmm.
feeding the ego, not the heart.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's sometimes hard to feel the difference because egos can be so intrusive and
Mm-hmm.
so powerful, strong that it wants to get what it wants to get.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to know the difference. You know, Joni says your views on the world will vary, but being kind, sharing your heart should remain the same. It's not
Yes.
that difficult to be kind. Make someone's day because it will make yours better.
It
Right,
matters. Kindness matters. It really
right.
does.
And you're never alone. And that is I hope that everyone that tunes into this knows that Rhea and I are always available. Really, for anything you might need, for resources, for any of that. So anybody that's tuning into this, like there's no reason to feel alone because we connect with you every week and we're here even when it's not Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So Donna says, I almost feel as if the growing lack of human emotional connection is contributing to the anger we see growing in our world. That
Yes.
people need connection, and when people can't find healthy connections, they will accept connection from
From
unhealthy
unhealthy
places.
places. You remember that song, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places?
Yeah.
Yes.
But when
Yes.
you're looking for love, you don't always know what the wrong place is. You're looking for somebody to accept you. And
Mm-hmm.
if they don't accept you, you might just want people to notice you, and like young people, they want attention. And
Yes.
if a young person's not getting attention, what might they do to get attention?
Sometimes negative attention is
It's still
still
attention,
attention. It's still
right?
attention.
Right. And so if they're not going to look at me and notice me, I have a need to be noticed just so badly, right? That if they're not going to notice me, I'm going to take my food and I'm going to throw it across the kitchen, or I'm going to get on the floor, stamp my feet, and scream
Mm-hmm.
until somebody notices me, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, we're all looking for some kind of connection. That's
And
a true fact.
that is an absolute. We need that, and there are a lot of people who communicate out there, but are they connecting?
Right.
Everyone communicates, but few connect. We learned that from John Maxwell.
Hmm. And
Now,
Safa, can you read
mhm,
Safa's, or do I have it up there, right?
let's see. I see Safa says accepting ourselves just as we are. We are all flawed. That's right. We are not meant to be perfect. We meant to learn and grow from our strength and our weaknesses. And there's a lot of growth
Yeah.
in the weaknesses. There
Right.
is.
And last week we talked about, we can teach what we know, but we produce who we are.
Mhm.
Right. So it kind of goes along with this week a little bit more in examining your heart. And especially in this world where there is such mass tragedy happening,
Mhm.
we have a response to that.
Yes, yes,
And
absolutely,
what is it going to be?
absolutely. So that is, one of the questions we want to leave you with, along with the question, as we said before, what are you putting out there? How are you demonstrating love? And what changes, just for yourself, understanding what changes can you make, and are you as aware as you would like to be? So, with all of that in mind,
Yeah.
it is time for us to wrap up. We thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful evening. It's wonderful here. We thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday evening. Laura and I are with you every Tuesday for Tune In Tuesday, because we are dedicated to helping you lead ridiculously amazing lives. And
Yes.
and we believe that there's so much that love is the answer. We really
Yeah.
believe
And talking about living a ridiculously amazing life, love is the beginning of anything ridiculously amazing, right? I mean, I
that.
think so. Anyway, I want to end, Rhea, with that quote that I love from Martin Luther King Jr.
Hmm.
that says, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that.
Hmm.
And hate cannot drive out hate.
Hmm.
Only love can do that."
That's right.
And there's hate right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's hate, and it's hurting so many people. People are looking to give up. People are looking to give in. People are crumbling. People are joining it. People are fighting it. Let's love our way through it,
That's right. That's right.
right? So I
All
love you.
right. Love you. Love you. Thank you all so much for joining us. And if you're watching on the replay, just let us know that you're watching the replay too. So
Yeah.
we appreciate each and every one of you. And until next week, have a ridiculously amazing week.
Yes. And if you're catching the replay, even if you're not, if you can post in here, what do you do to give out love? What's an action that you can do or do that puts love out in that world? Because living a ridiculously amazing life is about that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So see you all next week.
All right.
Love you, Rhea.
All right. Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.